Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in on a beautiful Friday morning as the Dodgers come back home, sweet home, to Los Angeles to take on the Texas Rangers. Should have just hopped aboard that airplane ride from Texas to Los Angeles and just hopped on with them. They're about 3 hours down the road from me, so super excited to get the home swing started again after the Dodgers go 5-1 on a very successful road swing. Win the first 5 games against the Nats and then the Toronto Blue Jays. Lose a heartbreaker in that last game on the road trip, but hey, that happens, right? It's just baseball. It's a situation. We covered it pretty heavily on Wednesday night show. Did not have a show yesterday because there was no game and I was a little bit busy. So like I said, just kind of keep your notifications on in terms of when we're going to be able to have shows and that kind of deal. Going to try to shoot. Mondays are going to be, so kind of the way it's going to go. Mondays are going to be Austin doing his live show in the afternoon. Then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays will be these morning shows. And then hopefully on Wednesdays, Austin and I will be able to get together on, whatever evening, on Wednesday evenings, every Wednesday evening, and get a live show together. And then we're going to start back our Sunday night shows with Coach Barikoff. Just been super busy, and so just haven't really been able to get around to those times on Sunday nights. So going to get back to that, but hey, a lot of great Dodgers action that we have to talk about. A lot of great down the farm. Today's going to be a lot more about the down the farm segment. We covered the big club on Wednesday. Pretty heavy. There hasn't been a whole lot to change since then. So this is going to be more so a down the farm segment. So if you're more into the minor league action, this is probably going to be your show because we have a lot of action on the farm to talk about. A lot more action on the farm than we do anything that might have changed with the Dodgers. So first of all, I wanted to talk, I was messaging back and forth with Doug McCain just a minute ago about Dalton Rushing, some of the adjustments they've made with him. And if you go look at his swing, he's a little bit more upright. It's more of a taller setup. It means he has to turn the barrel harder, which gives him the ability to be more aggressive with the hands and whipping the barrel, but be a little bit more under control with. Matter of fact, let me get some Dalton Rushing video up on the board, and let me actually show you what I'm talking about here so we can kind of talk about some of the adjustments that he's made. To me, it's a classic. Now, I was telling D-Mac, it's a classic 1990s, if you will, swing setup. 1990s for all decades, to me, is the greatest offensive decade ever at all levels, high school, college, pro. So if you see this right here, what I want you to notice, he's taller, okay? So he's taller in his legs, okay? And that allows him to turn the barrel a little bit harder. Let me actually back this up and put this on a play speed of about a half. Let's do that right there. So I want you to see the taller setup on the backside especially. See how he's taller on the backside? And that allows him to turn the barrel a little bit harder with his hands. Watch how his head stays still. So what that's allowing him to do, see how he whipped the barrel there? Now let's go back. Watch him whip the barrel with the top hand right there. See how he whips that barrel? Watch how the top hand, one more time, whips the barrel, comes across the top of the barrel there, and really gives that buggy whip to the barrel. So what you're seeing here with this swing, you're seeing a taller lower half, which is giving him more control in the lower half of his swing. It's giving him, actually, did I flip that over? Actually, I did not flip that over. I'm sorry. Let me go back over here. This is pretty, actually, I think I have Coach Holt on here. We'll get to Coach Holt here in a minute. Coach Holt, give me just a second here. I'm actually covering the Dalton Rushing swing, so give me just a second here, and we'll bring in Coach Holt when I get done with this. Coach, can you hear me? Okay, Coach Holt can hear me now. So you can hear me now, Coach, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me just a second. Let me get the Dalton Rushing swing in. So the adjustments Dalton Rushing has made, I actually have the video over now. Watch his backside stay tall. So he's more under control on the lower half of his body, which means that he has to turn the barrel harder with his hands, which means the path of his hands is going to be flatter. Watch how flat his hands come through the ball. See how flat his hands came through the ball? See how hard he whipped the barrel with that top hand? So what that adjustment has done, making him taller, right there you can see, it's kept him more under control with his lower half, but more aggressive with his top half. It's kept his head still. It's a classic 1990 swing, which Coach Holt will, I think he'll verify, The 1990s was the best decade of hitting ever when you take in the high school level, the college level, the professional level. That absolutely is a 19 that stay tall on the backside, whip the barrel, keep your head still. That is about as 1990s as it gets. So I'm guessing, hey, there's a million different people in the system that work with. I'm guessing whoever does the hitting, and let me actually get to Coach Holt right here. Let me flip over here and get to Coach Holt. I'm sorry, this is a little bit.
That. My fault.
Yeah, no problem here. Let me open up Coach Holt, and we will get after it. Let's see, Austin's right there and right there, right here. Okay.
Like Kenny.
Yeah, classic 1990 setup there, Coach, and I think you'll verify that. That is a setup, swing mechanic-wise, that will always work. I would guess that whoever, of course, there's a bunch of people behind this. I think it's probably somebody who has the roots of the 1990s that just kind of, hey, go back to being a little bit more stable on the lower side, a little bit more aggressive with your hands, whipping the barrel while keeping a flat path with your hands and your head still. Love it. Those are great adjustments by Dalton Rushing, and it is absolutely working for him at the moment.
You just described Will Clark, a great left-handed hitter. Will Clark swing. He's on social media
Coach,
now.
can you make yourself a little bit taller? Just a touch.
He's on social media now talking.
Other way. There we go. Right there. Perfect. There we go. Perfect.
He's on social media all the time talking about hitting, call it whatever you want, push, pull, bottom hand, you push and pull and all that stuff. Flat plane. That's a classic Will Clark amongst others, like you said, Case, 1990s, all those big-time hitters. Yeah, flat plane to the ball. And, you never heard the new terms. And again, us old people don't even relate to it, really, be real honest with you. But yeah, Rushing's made great adjustments. And look at proofs in the pudding. Whatever you want to call it, it works for him.
It absolutely does, Coach. Got to dive into Davey Lopes. I know he was important to you.
Oh, my gosh. Rex and I've told you a story before. Back in the 70s, I think I was still in high school. Rex got us some press passes, go to Houston Astrodome, watch the Dodgers, the heyday of Dodgers.
Oh, I think we just lost Coach Holt. He'll be on here in just a second. This is a little bit clunky. Sorry about that. We are. I'll give Coach Holt just a second here to get back on. I might flip back over to me right now. We're talking about Davey Lopes right now. This is amateur hour at Dodgers Daily right now. So you're watching video of Dalton Rushing again, and I'll go ahead and take this over until Coach Holt logs back in. So yeah, talking about Davey Lopes and Coach Holt was getting ready to tell a story. Actually, the meeting is still open, so we'll see. Let me message Coach Holt. I'm going to just go ahead and do this programming on the air. I'm sorry, this is amateur hour at Dodgers Daily. So give me just a second. Lost you. We'll see if he logs back in. So I just messaged Coach Holt. But yeah, very big loss, but I think he was 80 years old, a wonderful Dodger, just absolutely fantastic in terms of all the things he's able to do. A better human being than he was actually a ball player. So very sad news about Davey Lopes. Great road trip, won 5 out of 6 on the road trip. First rough outing for there he is. There's Coach Holt again.
I have no idea I'll go off my phone. I have no idea. My computer has lost its mind. So anyway, back to Davey Lopes case. Rex and I went down there at Astrodome. Of course, we're going afterwards. It's the heyday of the Dodgers. I mentioned Lasorda was the third base coach. That's how long ago it was. Walter Alston was the manager still. Smokey sitting there firing up a cigarette after the game. But I remember how kind the Dodgers were to us. Of course, Steve Garvey was over the top, the most kind of all of them. But they all, Billy Russell, once he found out we were Oklahoma boys, he's from Broken Arrow, we're from Stillwater. But I'll never forget Davey Lopes come over and made a point to say hi to us. He could tell we were probably didn't belong in there, to be honest with you, even though Rex had a tape recorder and a notepad. We probably did. We were there because we were fans, but Davey was an awesome guy just to visit with us that night and about a plethora of things. Probably some things I could mention on the air, actually, but then you go in, he's a longtime Dodger. He's a major league coach forever, even coached with the Dodgers for a while. But that was, for us old guys, that the heyday of Dodger baseball. Only reason they didn't win several more world championships was it's a team called the Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine at that time. The Dodgers would win 99, 100 games, couldn't even get the playoffs in those days because the Reds would finish above them. And the classic, the great all-time New York Yankee teams. But, that's a team that is capable of winning several And Davey Lopes was right in the middle of that. He was that spark plug at the top. He played second base, but he could hit. He could steal bases. He set it up those other guys, when they had the year with the four guys that hit 30 home runs, Dusty Baker and that whole crew, once he joined on the foe there, Lopes was right getting that thing started all the time. So a spark plug on the field, an outstanding coach in the major leagues, not just for the Dodgers, but for other teams, and a big loss for Dodger Nation, just especially those of us old enough that go back to that I call it the heydays, even though there wasn't a lot of World Series titles right there. What a great time for Dodgers. All those guys that come up through the minor leagues together. Lasorda come up then, of course, Lasorda became their manager after Walter Alston retired. So, and also before I forget, I know this is close on you too. Miggy Rowe's dad just passed away too. Mm-hmm. Can't go without mentioning that too. But so two big losses in the Dodger family here in a matter of days.
Coach, did you ever coach against Matt Kemp? Do you know him?
I know who Matt Kemp. Probably American Legion game. I don't remember. I wouldn't remember Matt Kemp, so I probably didn't. So I'm guessing maybe that's after I got out of American Legion in Stillwater and went to the high school ranks.
Yeah. And so Matt Kemp, we have a comment here, a great comment, that Matt Kemp gave Davey Lopes a lot of credit for being able to steal bases, teaching him how to steal bases. So, just it's amazing. If you went through just the entire tree of all the people that Davey Lopes has helped or touched in some way, I mean, I don't think you would have enough time left on earth to be able to describe all. When you take somebody as influential as Davey Lopes, who spent as much time in the game, was such a wonderful human being as he was, and was willing to help however he could help, it would be impossible to even go through all the people that he either touched or helped along the way. You know what I mean?
No, it's great. It's a big loss, not just for Dodger Nation, but baseball. Like you just mentioned, Case, all the players up and down the line who can tell you what he meant to them. I relay a guy now to him, didn't have the success on the field that Davey did, but like a Ron Washington.
Yes.
A guy's been a manager. He's one of the great, they say maybe the best infield instructor in the major leagues right now. One of them. Ron Washington has developed so many kids. I would relate him in the same vein with different organizations, several different, all the players he's helped. I relate. Davey and him are probably along the same lines. There's probably other guys. Those are close to my heart because I'm Dodgers and I'm also a closet Ranger fan, except for tonight, by the way. But
yeah, I'm a Ranger fan too, Coach. We can't help it. I mean, hell, the Oklahoma City was the Rangers AAA affiliate forever, right? I mean, I'm not going to deny that.
Hey, that's good for us, Case. That's 3 years in a row we won the World Series, though. You got Rangers, and then you got the Dodgers 2 straight.
No doubt.
It's been a good run here for us here in this area that likes the Rangers too. But just think about all the as you mentioned, Davey Lopes, a big loss for baseball, and you're probably going to see. Being an 80-year-old guy, and I know he's had some health issues, I guess, recently. I saw Ron Say's statement about him, and I guess he had been dealing with some things, but I didn't even realize that. Last time I saw him, he was coaching for someone, and but all the players he's helped, just a great ambassador, not only for the Dodgers, but for the game of baseball, and a big loss. And like I said, us old-timers, we get that guy with the mustache up there hitting leadoff for us and playing second base every day you could count on.
Jay makes a great point. It'll be must see and must listen TV tonight when Rick Monday gives his thoughts on Davey Lopes. That will be must see. Tune in if you tune in for any other reason tonight to watch the Dodgers. Tune in to listen to Rick Monday talk about Davey Lopes. That will be must see and must listen. No,
I agree with you. I'll have to try to check that out. They played. We're 9-10 tonight, aren't we, here in Oklahoma? So I should be able to pick that up and I'll try to catch up. You're absolutely correct. He played for the Dodgers on the back end of the heyday, but he was there. Hit the big home run in Montreal. So Rick Monday, even though we loved the guy when he was with the Cubs, when he went out and saved the American flag from burning in center field at Dodger Stadium, the Dodger fans have been loving on Rick Monday forever. And then he became a Dodger, made it even better. And now he's a great broadcaster for the Dodgers. So you're absolutely correct. I know he's going to have some outstanding and heartfelt thoughts on Davey Lopes tonight. So probably something we all need to listen to and watch.
Okay, let me get back to the videos here. Alex Freeland right here, Coach. Alex Freeland had a couple hits the other night. I don't know how many times I've said it. I know you agree with me. Your baseball background, we see just about everything in baseball-wise. Eye to eye. That's probably because I learned about 90% of everything I know about baseball from you. So that's probably why that is the case. But, hey, there's an old saying, you can't walk your way off the island. We've said it all off season. Alex Freeland can make all the great swing decisions he wants to make, but unless he actually hits the ball and gathers hits, he's not going to be a productive offensive player for this team. So it was great to see Alex Freeland, A, get more aggressive, and B, get rewarded for being more aggressive and gather hits. That was great to see.
Yes, it was, and it's great not only for the Dodgers, but for him personally. And also, he laid down a sacrifice bunt.
Yes.
We only had, 12 or 13 all last year in the regular season. We talked about, I think, the last time we were together, Case, about the bottom of the order guys, the winning baseball plays.
Best bottom of the order, best 7, 8, 9 in all of baseball.
No doubt about it, Ray. You're absolutely correct. Move runners, lay down you got to get the sacrifice bunt down. I think I brought up the fact that Kim didn't get it down to one at bat. Typical coach, I'm going to whine about one at bat.
Of course. Absolutely. You always want more.
Get the bunt down. Everybody will be able to bunt. I know they don't work on it anymore. I get it. But the point being, those guys at the bottom of the order are so – we remember the best version of the Dodgers last year was when the bottom of the order was produced.
No doubt.
And then, because nobody's idiots. They know what the top of the order is. It's Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer up there. So what you're going to be dealing with. So the 7, 8, 9, like you said, right now the best in baseball, Case. We hope it stays that way. Because that just said, good Lord, you got 7, 8, 9, then you got Shohei Ohtani standing over there, and he hadn't really even got hot yet. He's still a freak of nature. One of the
Not Shohei hot.
Not Shohei hot yet.
Yeah.
No, he hasn't gotten there yet. And that's bad news for everybody else because the Dodgers are 9-3 and playing very well without him being Shohei hot.
Yeah, no doubt. Your thoughts on Ha-Seong Kim so far?
It's been great. Again, same thing, not only for the Dodgers, but for him. He comes in and, like you said, you're the one that saw him in Oklahoma City on media days. There's some frustration there, not so much frustration. Yeah, there's some depression in there because he didn't make
the type of disappointment you want, Coach. When I put a lineup out and the guy's not in the lineup and he's happy about it, I don't want that guy on my team. I want him to be pissed.
No, he needs to be pissed. I want to get back to L.A. I love Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Oklahoma City and Bricktown, but, I'm at Bricktown Ballpark or Dodger Stadium. We know where he wants to be. So that's great for him, but he has proven his value to the Dodgers. He can run. He can steal bases. Like I said, it's been great to see him have some success. We talked several times. Maybe he never goes back down. Now, I don't know the numbers when they started getting injured players back and how they're going
especially.
to together. It's going to be some tough decisions made, but it's hard with him and Freeland both. Somebody's probably going to have to go back to OKC at some point, and it's going to be a hard decision, and you never know what's going to happen there. But he's certainly made a great account of himself coming up there, and it proves a lot about him. That after the frustration, the disappointment, that he's come back and has some success when his opportunity did arise. So hopefully that he'll get to stick with the ball club. I don't know. I don't have the roster and the numbers. That's the front office and the on-field staff people to make those decisions. But I know they're going to be tough. These guys, let's face it, Case, the Dodger organization makes tough decisions every day. Even in the off season, those guys are 24/7. Having to make tough decisions on those personnel from the lower A level on up, everything. So this is nothing new for them. And Dave Roberts makes tough decisions, especially the last 2 years when the entire starting staff is gone. And last year the bullpen is decimated, and you deal with injuries every day, which I know a lot of major league managers do. I don't care about them because I don't watch them. I don't love them. I could do the Dodgers. So he makes tough decisions every day, him and the staff. So they'll continue to have to do that. There'll be some tough ones there, but Kim, the good thing about it is Kim's put him in that position.
No doubt.
He's made it. Okay, it's on you guys now. I'm doing what I can do, and that's all you can say for him. That's a great account of himself.
Totally agree about that. That is absolutely 100%. So, Tyler Glasnow goes tonight. His ERA is right around 3. I've been very pleased with Tyler Glasnow to this point. I've said many different times, this just feels like that season where he's finally healthy all the way through. I think if maybe he does go on the IL later on, I don't think it will be because he's actually injured. It'll just be maybe a workload management. It just kind of feels like that type of momentum for him. Of course, you never can predict the future. So I say that to say, as Dodgers fans, it seems like we feel like the Dodgers are playing good when they're hitting the ball well, and we feel like they're struggling when they're not hitting the ball well, although they're pitching the ball at an elite level. They've made one freaking error all year, and that was on a bad hop to Alex Freeland. There's different ways to play well in this game, and as Dodgers fans, we are so spoiled that if we're not hitting the ball and pitching the ball and playing defense at an elite level, there's a certain amount of, oh, well, we're not clicking on all cylinders, right? Well, no team ever, even in the playoffs. I mean, you might have 5 games, maybe a couple of streaks all year to where the pitching, offense, and defense all are clicking together. So it's just kind of interesting how spoiled as Dodgers fans we are to think that if one of the aspects of the game aren't totally elite, then this Dodgers team just isn't kind of performing the way it should. Isn't that interesting how that goes? That's how good this team is.
Yes, it is. We are spoiled, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I'll go back to the first series where we swept the Diamondbacks, and everybody's having a great time. Case, we didn't hit worth a crap during that series.
Right.
We pitched great. But, we had some big home runs during that. But, then we go right out of that and go and lose 2 out of 3 to the Guardians. So they weren't really hitting the Dodger way like we see now at the start of the season. But they won 3 straight against the Diamondbacks, and everybody's great already. So it's the same thing.
Who, by the way, put a pounding on the Mets last night.
Yes, exactly. That's a good team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pitched well. We pitched outstanding.
Absolutely.
So, no, you're right.
I'm saying there's different ways to play well, right?
Absolutely. You said it, and I've said it 1,000 times, even on our American Legion high school level. There's tons of ways to win and lose a ball game. We always talk about that. The play in the second inning is just as important as the last play of the game. They all count. That's what people who aren't baseball people forget about sometimes. They just see that. But you're absolutely correct. The reason the Dodgers are 9-3 is because they pitched at elite level. They played defense at elite level. They ran the bases well. Everything, the winning baseball plays, as we call it, winning baseball plays, they're everywhere. And that's why the Dodgers are where they are. They're good enough, and we've already seen it. Even when they don't hit well, they can win because they're so elite. I'm talking about the whole entire staff as a starting staff. Bullpen, as of right now, it's been pretty elite. I know we've had some up and downs in the bullpen, but the more I thought about that, we was talking about bullpen, I think every team goes through that.
Of course, Coach. It's the most volatile position in baseball, the bullpen is. Yeah.
Times you come in, you may throw a great pitch. We forget the other guy's a major leaguer too.
A starter might have a bad inning in the first inning and you score, you have the whole entire game to come in, so you forget about it. If a reliever comes in and gives two runs like Jack Dreyer, you don't forget because it's the difference in the game. It's the last thing you remember.
Last thing you remember, it's the last hit of the game. We've all been there, Case. And, kid that strikes out of the bases loaded of the game, I tell him the same thing I told the guy who got a base hit to win the game. That's just the last play of the game.
Yes.
There's a lot of ways we won the game. There's a lot of ways we lost the game. And like you said, the bullpen is a volatile deal because – Dave Roberts is going to make, in his mind and his staff, he's usually going to make at the time, we talked about this last time, Gary Ward telling me years ago, just have guts enough, balls enough to make a decision and go with it. And sometimes it blows up in your face, sometimes it don't. That's why it's a volatile position.
Yes.
The relievers of all time, there's very few of them that go through it. Mariano Rivera might have been the closest one to them. Maybe never blow a save, but most of them have all blown a save at some point. There's always a guy, as we used to say, they call them firemen coming out of the bullpen. Some guys bring in water, some guys bring in a can of gas with them. So, and that doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that day wasn't there. They didn't feel well. There's a little hurt we don't know about. Also, on the other hand, maybe that's Bryce Harper over there hitting, and we throw a great pitch and he hits it.
Maybe you need to give the other team credit. Yeah,
give the other team credit, and that's what we forget sometimes. These are the best players in the world. These are all major leaguers, are the best baseball players in the world. Sometimes you just got to tip your hat to them and move on and go on to something else and give them credit.
Kind of like Robo's first start. The first 2 hits he gave up, hey, man, they were good pitches. Just give – I think it was Jose Ramirez got one of them. Just give those 2 people credit. I mean, the third one was a hanger. That was on him. The double that hurt him. And then the walk was on him, no doubt. But the first 2 hits that started the rally – yes. Hey, great job. Sometimes you got to do that. So having said that, talking about the volatility of the bullpen, Jack Dreyer, basically from the time that he came back to the Dodgers, undrafted free agent, he has experienced absolutely no failure whatsoever. He hit the ground as running as any human being I have ever seen, especially for a reliever in the bullpen. kind of the beginnings of the first period to where you can see some signs to where the struggle has been a little bit longer maybe than he's not saying that he is struggling. I'm not trying to say that. The last outing is what it is. So if you're management, this is really kind of the first maybe set up to where you're having to deal with that failure, talk with him. Do you even address that with him, or you just let Maytag just continue to plow on?
I don't think it's time for, in my opinion, I don't think it's time for that discussion yet. I mean, what we just talked about right there. Now, if you have a string of those, or you see something, his delivery and his mechanics,
yes,
that those guys at the field level can pick up. If there's something in technically wrong, yes, they're going to have those discussions now. But if you look up, and we've all been there, Case, man, he looks good. His velocity's good. Everything, he's got good feel for everything. Looks good. He's just not getting the results right now. I think you can make it worse by all of a sudden you panic. You panic. Make him start panicking. Just, hey, it's like a guy that goes up and goes over.
Like the coach that's yelling at his players and telling them to calm down while he's yelling.
Yeah.
That coach.
I've been guilty of that. So when I was much younger.
Calm down. It's like, oh, okay, coach.
You've done it several times, I'm sure. So,
no,
you don't want him in panic mode. So, there's really no reason for him to be in panic mode. These guys, I've never been a major league reliever, but I can only imagine. Usually when you come in, all hell's broke loose. Sometimes you get those easy situations, quote unquote easy, when you come in, you're up 6 or 8 runs. But for the most part, when those guys roll in, it's usually a pretty tight game against elite hitters. So, there's pressure on those guys all the time. I mean, to me, even more so than the starters. The starters know days ahead of time when they're starting preparation. All right, guys sitting down the bullpen with a big chew in or whatever he's doing, spitting seeds and having a hell of a time down there. All of a sudden, because all hell broke loose the day before, now you're up again a day early. That type of stuff. So there's always volatility is a good word you use, uncertainty and stress down in that bullpen. That's why those guys are amazing to me. The ones that are so successful at doing it every day. Like I said, they still have their moments. Like I said, unless your name's Mariano Rivera, every one of us blown a save and come in and look like crap, and everybody's booing the manager for bringing him in, even though he's the best closer in the game. That type of deal. So, it's drier. It's not time for to get off on him, just like you wouldn't get Shohei for striking out 5 times in a game. He's still leading off the next day and getting paid his $700 million.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think what I'm seeing in Tyler Glasnow, we use this word a lot in baseball. The word is comfortable. Austin used it in our show Wednesday night. Baseball players, of all the words that you need to use about them, they need to feel comfortable, right? So I think what I'm seeing in Tyler Glasnow that's making me so excited and so relaxed, this is the most comfortable he has looked, in my opinion, in his skin that I have ever seen him as a major league pitcher. Can you address that?
We knew when we got him, Case, that we were all, jumping through hoops when we got Tyler Glasnow because we knew what type of talent he was. That's a good word, comfortable, that you just said. I'll add on to it. It's the same thing, confident. I think we saw it in spring training. I didn't see all of his starts in spring training, but I know he threw the ball very well in spring training.
Which is weird to say for Tyler Glasnow because he's always been great, but that is true. It's true. It actually is true.
It is. I totally agree. It's the same old thing. You build confidence by work, by experiences. You don't have confidence the first time you walked out there. Well, you may have. Some guys do, and I wish I was more like that. But I'm just saying he's comfortable because he has confidence. He had a great year last year. Got another ring, and here we go. And he's had a great spring training. He was throwing well. He's healthy. Yeah, we're seeing the best version of him right now. The version we thought we were going to see, and the one we were hoping we were going to see. And good for him and good for the Dodgers. But, I look forward to watching him pitch tonight. I think the Rangers on Kumar Rocker. So it'll be a good series. The Rangers are a good ball club. It'd be interesting to see how Skip Schumacher does as a manager. I know he'll be fine. He's always been a good player, and I think he's been a good coach so far since he's quit playing. So, again, I pull for the Rangers in the closet except for tonight. So.
Okay. This is cool. So talking to Brian Kraft, Crafty. He was our shortstop at OSU in the early 2000s. He's a scout in the Dodgers system now. You know him well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So,
I think.
Yeah, if you go back to our interview, 2021, I think it was actually like the first weekend series ever of O'Brate Stadium because they were supposed to open it in 2020 And then COVID hit, so I think they would just waited till 2021, and they didn't do any non-conference games there because it wasn't quite ready yet. So I think, although this wasn't a conference series, so Josh Holliday, our head coach, actually was the main assistant under Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt when Vanderbilt started building their power. Okay, and matter of fact, Josh Holliday was an assistant on the first Vanderbilt team to make the College World Series as the beginning of the run that we've seen that the Vandy boys run now. So I say that to say Oklahoma State and Vanderbilt had a home series, and Vanderbilt came to Stillwater in 2021, and Justin Robleski faced off against Kumar Rocker in Stillwater, Oklahoma over spring break, and I got to see it. And of course, Kumar Rocker was throwing it. He looked like freaking Nolan Ryan or Lee Smith or whoever you wanted to on the bump, throwing it 98, 99. And I'm telling you, that day, Justin Robleski was the more impressive pitcher. That's what the day literally. Of course, I had seen all the TrackMan data of Robleski. I knew all about Robo, how good he could be. He was getting ready to have the Tommy John, but he was coming off getting hit by the bus in JUCO to where he had lost all the weight. He had gotten down to the 80s on his velo. He had finally gotten his velo back. So I knew about the TrackMan data. Hadn't really seen him in a game. Hadn't seen that dog in him in a game. That was the day where I went, Justin Robleski is going to be a major leaguer, and he's going to be a major leaguer for a long time, because I came to see Kumar Rocker, to be honest with you, and I left more impressed with Justin Robleski. That was an awesome day at Stillwater.
No, I remember. I think I missed that game, but I think me and my sons came the day George W. Bush threw out the first pitch.
Yes.
With Mr. Brady out there. That was a great day. The Pokes won that one too. But when you look at it right now, Case, I mean, up to this point today in their careers, I mean, Robleski's more successful than he is.
And Rocker had the shoulder injury, and shoulder injuries are tough.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. But if you look at him as of today, Robleski's more successful than him as a pro right now. Rocker may win 20-4 this year and put some gap between them. But you're right. What a great – hey, by the way, Josh Holliday was a assistant with Pat Murphy at Arizona State.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely.
So that guy, another major league manager there he was under. But anyway, no, that was a great series to open the new stadium there. And, Rocker and Leiter. Leiter was there too. He was on that Vanderbilt staff. So the Vandy boys were the Vandy boys back in those days. I don't think they're quite the same now, but they still call themselves the Vandy boys. But they were legit there in the days, and they had. I mean, go back to the, for several years they were the Vandy boys, and Josh was right there doing the recruiting. But that's great. It'd be great to see Kumar. I hadn't seen him pitch. I noticed he's 0-1. I didn't see his.
I have not seen him pitch with my own eyes since that day. Honestly, I have not. That's how long it's been.
I don't want to get into television rights, but here at Case, we used to get Fox Sports Southwest here. I'll just go a little and get pissed off. We get the Cardinals, the Royals, the Rangers about every night.
And
usually
the Astros.
one of those, or sometimes both of them every night.
Yes.
So as Dodger fans, we could still do our Dodger thing, but we could keep up with these teams and kind of liked all of them.
Well, they played before the Dodgers, so you could.
Don't get me started on them. They got now the same way with the Thunder. You got to pay for it. All that. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox there. We used to be able to watch all that stuff for free, which is great. But now, so we got I'm like you. I used to see the Rangers a lot. I kept up with them. You see the Cardinals a lot. Hell, I felt like we're all fans of them. The Royals wasn't known quite as much, but you'd always see the Cardinals and Rangers here in Oklahoma where we were. And I loved it. That was the heyday of the Cardinals, and the Rangers, were really good during that time too. So I haven't seen Rocker pitch. I'm looking forward to watching him tonight also. Hope the Dodgers beat him, of course, but what a great story. Yeah, and you hope for that young man that he comes back after the injury he had and comes back and has a productive major league career, because you hate to say that's what he deserves. That's kind of what he's destined for. We'll see, though. There's a lot of guys in the history of baseball and really sports and life that unfortunately didn't get things that they probably were destined to do for a variety of reasons, a lot of them sad. So, but his dad was a great football player. Tracy Rocker, I think his dad, played at Auburn, was a great football player and major league and an NFL player. So he comes from an outstanding stock. So does Leiter. Obviously, his dad's a big-time major league pitcher forever. So,
do you remember Paul Leiter, Cam Leiter's dad?
I don't think.
He was one of the big pitchers in like the 82, 83 teams at Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I forgot about that guy. That's the Gary Ward days. Yeah.
Cam Leiter, who's in the system through the other day, his dad actually went to Oklahoma State too. That was cool.
Yeah, me and you were both. Of course, we were at Old Bray. I was only there one night at Old Bray last weekend with the Hall of Fame stuff going on. I got to visit Gary Ward some, and got a hug from one of the best men on the face of the earth, and I know you feel the same way about him outside of my father and my brothers. Maybe the guy's been most influential on me as a coach, and I've told him as much. Yeah. When I started coaching, I was coaching his son, and he was always there to lean on. Never unless he didn't offer anything unless I asked, but he's always taught me a lot and was like a father figure as far as baseball, because I knew nothing what the hell I was doing when I started, and still don't know anything 35 years later, but he sure was a big help to me.
Yeah. Okay, so Coach, kind of square this up for me.
Gotcha.
We need the wise old man hat on, Coach Holt, to cover up that bald head, right?
Yeah, I'm getting
okay, Freddie Freeman's chasing 3,000 hits. He's pissed he didn't hit 300 last year. You want him to be able to pace himself because you want him to reach all those goals, and if he paces himself, hey, he's the ultimate pro, right? Who would know better when Freddie Freeman should play than Freddie Freeman? But yet you have Dalton Rushing here, who we just talked about making all these adjustments, getting a lot better. He needs at bats. He needs 300 at bats. How do we handle if you're Billy Gasparino or Dave Roberts or Andrew Friedman or Brandon Gomes? How do we handle Freddie Freeman here with Dalton Rushing, knowing you need to get him 300 at bats? How do we do this?
Yeah, it's going to be on paper, which we know it didn't play on paper. You look at it; it should be simple, quote unquote. You can get Rushing some at bats if because Freddie load management, I guess the word the NBA.
But he won't do it, Coach. How do we get there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How do you approach a load management conversation with Freddie? Is he going to even let that conversation start?
I don't know if you even had those words. It goes back to the tough conversations. I mean, I get it, but Dave Roberts still fills out the lineup card. I'll just say it. I mean, and I get it. And Freddie doesn't show any. To me, he doesn't show any signs of aging. But we also know he's dealt with a lot of injuries the last couple of years, and we need the best version of Freddie Freeman. We get it, even though we know the less than 100% Freddie Freeman is still good enough to win a World Series with. We know it, but it's common sense. It's that case for everybody. The older they get, the more chance you got. He's still in great shape. He's still productive, that sort of thing. I don't know if discussions – there's going to be tough discussions at some point because –
I don't know if I have the balls to start that discussion with Freddie Freeman. No, I don't know if I do, man.
Well, I know I don't. Hell, I damn sure don't. But I'm not getting paid millions and millions of dollars.
Or if I even feel like I have the right, even if I'm the owner of the club. I don't even know if I feel like I have the right to approach Freddie Freeman with that conversation.
Well, I don't know Freddie Freeman personally, but from what I can see, he's a high-class individual. High character individual. Yes, I get you have this, your goals you want to reach, and we want you to reach them. Obviously, there's no doubt what we all want. And he doesn't show a lot of signs of slowing down.
No.
But he's also, age doesn't discriminate. It is a fact what his age is, even though he doesn't show it. I mean, he's still very effective. He's a great fielder, swings a bat, great hitter. But you can't keep pushing your luck. And like I said, that thank God, most days I'd love to be the Dodgers, manager out there, just like you would, Case. Except when it comes to stuff like this, or when all these injured players start getting back, what decisions you have to make. That's why those guys, as we always said, that's why those guys get the big bucks. But I don't know. Something's going to have to give there. I mean, they're going to be tough conversations, or you're going to have a tough conversation with Dalton Rushing. And he's going to say, to hell with you, and trade me then if I'm not going to get to play.
That's what I'd say.
One way or another is going to be a tough conversation for one or the other or both of them. I don't know how they approach that. They've got their own matter of the way they do things, but that to achieve your goals, yes, we want you to do that, and we're going to try to do that. But he can't play every day. There's just no way he can. And it seems like, I don't know. Again, I'm not privy to any of these discussions. I'm just thinking about me in my situation and what I would do. But I would be in that situation because I'm dealing with 17, 18-year-olds, so you wouldn't be talking about age. But if you got a hurt player, to me, if I had somebody that wasn't 100% and I know I can arrest him at certain points, it'd be a tough conversation. You're not playing today because we're just going to take – and the player's not going to like it. They're going to be pissed off about it. But, that's a manager – that's a manager's decision, or coach.
Coach, I got to say, I don't trust obliques. I'm worried about Mookie. No matter what the narrative is, no matter what they say about it, no matter what Mookie says, how he feels, I don't trust obliques. Am I being a little bit too over the top with that, you think?
No, because you got experience in that. Oblique in baseball is not a good thing. It's like a back injury.
It's just not. Hamate bone's another one. Just you might be able to play, but it affects you so much.
Yeah, everybody's breaking their hamate bone. How did we play all those years, Case, and not break our damn
because we
bone?
broke them, we just didn't realize it.
You see those guys taping it up right there. You broke it and went on. I know Jackson Holliday's dealing with that.
Actually,
right now.
Coach, they didn't throw as hard as they do now. That's probably the largest reason why.
When you get somebody throwing 82 and
the ball's not moving late like it does now. I mean, sit behind Oklahoma City someday. You'll see it.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Pitchers don't throw as hard, and the hitters damn sure don't have maximum swing every time back in those days. Every now and then they would, whatever. It's just a different game. So it's more volatile on the body. So that's why we see so many arm surgeries, arm injuries, and like you said, broken hamate bones. But I agree with you on oblique. It's, you think about golf and baseball, the torque, the rotation, stuff like that. Backs, oblique, stuff like that. I mean, it's almost like with a basketball player. Every time I hear a basketball player has a calf injury or he's just sitting out for a calf, we've already seen it with Kobe Bryant, with Kevin Durant.
How about the high ankle sprain?
Yeah, and last year with the Halliburton kid. Trust me, I'm an Oklahoma City fan. I was dying to win that day. That's terrible. It started from a calf injury. It's the same thing. That's a basketball player deal. And I don't know how those guys when do you come back? When do you take a chance on snapping that thing? It's the same thing here. The rotation, the torque on the body for golfers, backs, obliques, stuff like that. God. I'm with you, Case. Those are very, sprained ankle is one thing. High ankle sprain lasts forever, but you can play, depending on what position you play. You can play on that. We saw, God bless, rest in peace, Billy Buckner, one of my all-time favorites, playing out there basically with a broke ankle, and everybody wants to blame him for a bunch of damn people screwing up the World Series, but they won't blame him. But anyway, I'll get up. You know how I feel about that.
No doubt. It was Game 6, and everybody makes mistakes.
Absolutely, just like the Cubs.
Just like the Steve Bartman deal. The Cubs have only themselves to blame.
Yeah, Game 6, big boy. I mean, it goes back to the Rangers and Cardinals. That was Game 6. The Rangers had won. It got beat. It was one of the greatest.
Now, Don Dinkinger and I think that was the umpire in the I-70 series with the Royals and the Cardinals. Yeah. I got nothing. I got nothing for that guy.
Close. No, that's as bad as the call the guy who screwed up the perfect game for years. They treated him very well, and the next day they pitcher brought out the lineup card, and they hugged on him, and he just.
But common sense is you're trying to out anything you can there. You want to err on the side of out right there. I'm sorry, you're human.
Now if you got a replay, you got a perfect game.
Yes.
Here we are again. Years later, that's a perfect game because there's no.
That still makes me sick. I watched that documentary the other day, man. That makes me sick.
It does, and it makes.
I want to feel sorry for that umpire because he's human, but I just can't.
Yeah, you were raised by an umpire. That guy felt sick about it. That he feels terrible.
That's fine, but still, man, wow.
Can't do anything about it.
No, nope.
You're right. It was terrible. I saw one the other day in the major leagues. There was a call of whatever, forget what it was, and it was a no-brainer. And everybody's like, "What in the heck was it?" You never know. Like the guy didn't even see it. I think it's C.B. Buckner. Yeah. It's like he's in the field this time, not screwing up all the balls and strikes. But anyway, that's another topic for another time. But anyway. I'm worried about. I'm same way. Obliques. I mean, they can call it day to day. You call it whatever you want, but you're one turning it up or making even a shortstop. All the torques and motions he's going to make out there because of making a play.
I agree.
Flipping and throwing. I mean, he don't even have to be swinging a bat. So, it's and again. He's not a young player now.
That's another point of it, too, yes.
Like I told you, Case, age doesn't discriminate. Much as we love Freddie Freeman, he's so productive and Mookie, it doesn't change the fact age is creeping up on him. We don't see it now.
That's not a criticism. It's a fact.
No, it's a fact of nature. By God, I used to have a full head of hair, too, Case, and, shit happens, and it happens to everybody.
You used to have a nice beard. Yeah.
I don't know about that. I got too much Native American in me.
Depending on the year, you were either svelte or you were a little overweight, one of the two. It just depended on what year it was, right?
It was mostly overweight, but thanks for being nice.
And the year that you were overweight, you're always in the outfield was 180 degrees running laps, right?
I was running laps. I tried to throw BP every day. The Oklahoma heat, You should never be fat throwing
Vinny
BP
would come throw BP at lunch, then you throw BP before the game. It was awesome.
Oh, my God. I'm telling you, you should never be fat in Oklahoma when I was throwing batting
Never be fat in July in Oklahoma. It's not a fun thing to do.
Somehow or another, I still managed to do it. So
Me
anyway,
too, Coach. Me too.
probably too many cheeseburgers and cold beer after the game. But anyway,
Yeah, Freddie's going to turn 37 in September. I mean, the load management, whether he likes it or not, at some point it has to happen. So
yeah, again, there's nothing easy about that. But again, I go back to have never had a conversation with him. Everything you see and hear about Freddie Freeman, he's elite person as well as a Hall of Fame baseball player.
And he needs to be available in October, not April.
Yeah, and I just keep getting the feeling that he understands that. It's not going to be station, but I just I don't take him as
he's pretty competitive, man,
player.
and he likes to post. I mean, posting in baseball is a badge. Like, hey, I show up and I play every day. That's a badge.
Yeah, good Lord. I mean, like I said, we didn't even realize he had broken ribs.
Yeah.
Last time we thought we knew he had a bad ankle. We win the World Series, find out he's got broken ribs.
Yeah.
So he's never, every day. So like I told you before, back then we even talked about the clubhouse. Those guys in the clubhouse know what he goes through every day to get on the field. Not only do that, he has to produce.
Yeah.
And he did. Home run against the Yankees. I mean, home run last year. I mean, the guy's an amazing Hall of Fame player in person, and tough conversations that probably at some point are going to happen with him and Dave Roberts, and I'll be shocked if it's not productive.
Yeah. So, but how do you say, hey, we're just doing what we're wanting to do what's best for you, and how do you say, well, we know what's best for you more than you know what's best for you? I don't know how you can make that statement to him, because I don't think that's true. I think Freddie's the one who knows what's best for him more than anybody.
But what we can't take out of the equation is what Rushing's doing. He continues to play like that, and I think Freddie. Again, I keep talking about Freddie like I know him. I don't, but I feel like I do.
Yes.
I think he sees Rushing. We've got a young player. This guy can help us win another World. This guy can help us three-peat.
Yeah.
Not just words. He can help us three-peat. He needs to get his at-bats. I need to take a couple days off and spit some seeds and get a suntan. He needs to play because in October, I need to be healthy. He needs to be ready to go. So I'll be shocked if that isn't a productive situation between all parties involved.
Okay, Coach, let's get into our Down the Farm segment here. This is Josue de Paula. Josue de Paula, after a bit of a slow start, of course, the Hammonds Field in Springfield, I'm just telling you, Oklahoma State went there a couple weeks ago and gave up 16 runs. This is, for some reason, in Springfield, Missouri, Hammonds Field has always been a launching pad. So I always take the offensive numbers when Tulsa goes to Springfield kind of in check. I mean, like, hey, this is kind of one of those Texas League facilities to where the ball carries, you see abnormal type offense. So I don't want to get too excited. Right. But Josue de Paula, the Dodgers' #1 prospect, is 7 for his last 11. He hit his first home run the other night. He had another. It was opposite field. He had another opposite field double last night. Are you seeing this on your screen, Coach?
Yeah. Yes,
okay. Josue de Paula, very, very, very impressive. And I keep saying this, too, being the Dodgers' #1 prospect. I saw it with Diego Cartaya. I saw it with Dalton Rushing. It's not easy to be the Dodgers' #1 prospect. I'm just telling you. That's a lot of pressure. That's a big monkey on your back. This is the guy that I've seen that's been the Dodgers' #1 prospect that he actually embraces it and enjoys it. I mean, like, that actually makes him better. I think he likes that limelight. And I think that's no small part to being a Dodger, is that you have to like that limelight and want to be able to perform with all the eyes looking at you. So from all these perspectives, the way he can hit, he made a diving catch last night, the way that he has been able to handle having the tag of the #1 prospect, liking the limelight. Lot to like here in the Dodgers' #1 prospect, Josue de Paula. Tell us what you're seeing.
No, and I watched the missed video earlier today. A lot of the stuff that you're showing right here to watch him. The impressive, like I said, the opposite field. I don't mean he's just not sneaking it over the fence when he hit his home run the other day. Kind of like James Tibbs III also was doing the same thing. These guys are hitting the ball the other way. Watch the way he's swing. I mean, he's hitting wherever it's pitched. That right there is kind of middle away. He hits in the freaking bullpen in the left field. But that guy, the #1 prospect, it's the same thing, Case. We talk about culture. The Dodgers organization has a culture. Let's just face it. If they don't fit into it, they're probably not going to remain a Dodger after they get out of the minor leagues. They're probably going to another organization or what have you. This guy shows everything the Dodgers look for. Like you said, the fact he embraces, let's just throw it out there.
The Hollywood.
The New York Yankees, the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cardinals are put them up there too.
Just because you can play for the Indians doesn't, or no, I'm sorry, the Guardians doesn't mean you can play for the Dodgers. There's a big jump there.
Totally agree.
The Hollywood effect.
Players also, and they're great players. This guy, I hate saying it, you just have to have that something special, because at the time he moves up there, now we've been talking about Freddie and Mookie, and those guys are going to be getting older as this guy's starting to move in there, as we see with Pajes and some of these young guys rushing. They're starting, you're seeing this kind of some kids starting to come in. This guy shows every intention of being a great, you hate saying that, but potentially an outstanding major leaguer. And, he's the Dodger. You mentioned it. He embraces it's La La Land. This is the back-to-back World Series champs, and everybody favored for him to win the third in a row, for only the third team to ever do it in Major League history. And this guy's just out there doing it. I don't care. Bring me up. I'll do the same thing up there. He almost comes across that way.
Yeah.
Even though I've never had a discussion with him. Hey, I don't care. I don't care if I'm sitting in Tulsa or Springfield, Missouri. I'm doing the same crap I'm doing in L.A. or New York or anywhere else. So that's – oh, man, sky's the limit here. I can't wait to get over to Tulsa and watch you play, man. I hadn't been to a game yet.
This is Kendall George, Coach. I know the comps are to D. Gordon. This is Kendall George. He stole 100 bases last year. He already has, I believe, 5 this year. So he's well on his way. Okay, so here's the deal, okay? This time last year, he beefed up. He tried to get the ball up in the air a little bit more. He tried to add power to his game. Next thing you know, it's the All-Star break, and he's not doing anything well, right? Okay?
Right.
So he goes back to just kind of his game. That game right there, slap the ball to left field, almost like a slap hitter in softball. Now all of a sudden he's hitting 400. He's scoring more than 1 run a game. He has basically a stolen base every game. He's led both back-to-back nights. He led off with a single on Wednesday and then stole second base on the first pitch to Josue de Paula. Josue de Paula knocked him in. Last night he hits a double. Then Josue de Paula knocks him in last night. So can this game, to where he's just lobbing the ball, and of course he hit one pretty hard last night on his double, but can this game to where he's just basically hitting the ball the opposite field, being the equivalent of a slap hitter in softball, does that play as we get to higher levels? What do you think? What do you think about that style?
Well, I think it should. Here's we talked about this with our what we wanted Kim to be. I think the last time we were together, we talked about Kim. Slap the ball the other way, lay a bunt down.
Yeah, see that one. See how that ball carries? Actually, watch Kendall George here. This is Hammond's Field. Watch. He thinks he actually flew out here, right here. He thinks he's out right there. Okay, and then the ball just keeps carrying, because that's just the way it does at Hammond's Field. So you got to be careful with numbers in Springfield, but it's fun to see these guys.
Well, the numbers you can't be careful with are the stolen bases. He's
can this guy be Ichiro? That's a good. I think that's a better comparson. That looks like Ichiro right there, doesn't it?
Yeah, that would be a great comparison. Again, I'll go back to what we were talking about with Kim the other day. Slap the ball, beat it in the ground, hit it the other way, lay a bunt down, or just show bunt. And everybody knows you can run. Same thing with him. When he comes to the plate, the defense is going to adjust. I don't give a damn where he's playing at. Everybody's going to know the scouting report says this guy can fly. You're going to have to get rid of the ball. You're going to have to shorten up, whatever. And they also know when he gets on first base. Yeah. Now the pitcher's in distress. Now the catcher's in distress. Everybody, the middle infielders got to be wary, because they got to get to the bag. It just changes everything. That's the part that us old guys hate the game getting away from. Is a winning baseball player.
There has to be at least some place in this space in this game for a guy like Kendall George. There has to be.
I'd love to have him hit 9-hole for me.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we was talking about with Kim. Beat the damn thing in the dirt. Throw a bunt down once in a while. You're going to be on base, and let the big boys knock you in. Especially when the Dodgers are set up. Show a leadoff. If you had another quote unquote guy like him, leadoff guy behind him, that's, it's not always great. But when you got Shohei there and they got to pitch to Shohei because first base is occupied and whatever, of course they may cut down the stolen bases. Don't go. We won't, don't even walk at him. But anyway, no, again, I'm not anything to do with the major leagues other than being a fan, but there's got to be a place in baseball for those guys. They can run, can hit the ball the other way, can bunt, do those things. If there's not those guys in baseball, what does baseball become?
Three true outcomes. That's such a boring game. It's such a boring game.
Milwaukee Brewers did pretty well that last year.
Walk, strikeout, hit a home run. That's so boring.
Yeah, exactly. Milwaukee Brewers did pretty well with guys putting the ball in play and hitting, doing things, moving runners around.
Well, the Blue Jays did pretty well in the World Series last year, to be honest with you.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. What I'm saying, when it comes down to
this is Cam Day, by the way, as we move on. But, finish your thought there.
Baseball. Okay.
Go ahead, finish your thought. I was just going to let the fans know.
No, that's what I was just saying. That's winning baseball.
Coach, watch this curveball to finish this first hitter off. This is Cam Day.
Wow.
That's stealing a strike. That's not his good one right there. Wait till he strikes the guy out. Wow. That guy's not even mad going back to the dugout. Now, keep in mind, this is Cam Day with that curveball. That fastball right there is 98. He has hit 100 miles an hour. He hit 100 miles an hour with Tulsa at the end of last year. So you saw the curveball. There's a little cutter slider. So that curveball, cutter, slider, fastball that was touching 98 last night will touch 100 again this summer. Again, Cam Day doesn't always, of course, he walked a guy last night, which brought up the tying run to the plate, and that's never what you want to do is walk a guy to bring the tying run to the plate. But then he got a ground out and a fly out and got out of it. The Drillers came back in a very exciting game, 1 in 10 innings last night. Cam Day, I'm telling you, obviously the execution is getting better. It's not exactly perfect right now. This guy Cam Day, though, I'm telling you, of any pitcher at any level, he is in the elite category of stuff plus. No, I'm not wrong on this. This is a guy that you need to follow. Undrafted free agent out of Utah. Cam Day, I could not be more excited about where he's at right now. So I wanted to show him on the down the farm here.
Like I said, you mentioned it. He's got major league stuff. Watch this guy. He's a major league pitcher. He's got some things he's got to clean up. Like you said, maybe a little, location, walked a guy last night, so that sort of thing. Get some location there. But as far as the stuff, that's big league stuff right there.
Wow.
Here, what on that?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Okay, a guy I want to talk about at AAA Oklahoma City, and we're going to spend all of our time on AAA Oklahoma City. We covered all of the lower level guys on our last show with Austin. So we're going to stay with AA Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Plus, those are the guys that Coach Holt watches every night because that's the state that we're in, right? So this is Ryan Fitzgerald. This is the James Outman lookalike. Had 4 more hits last night. This guy, I don't know where he would slot in. He's playing third base. I don't know. I'm sure he could play other places as well. But Ryan Fitzgerald, this really quick left-handed swing, the thing I like about him is that he was able to cover the outer part of the plate. Now watch him pull his hands inside. Coach, just pull his hands inside, go the other way. That's a 2-strike approach where he's looking away. And you always say, hey, look away. If you get something inside, pull your hands in the inside and inside out that thing the other way. And then he's able to take the soft in and pull that. So it's not just these gathering hits. It's the 2-strike approach to where you're looking to hit something the other way on the outer half. You're looking to inside out if you get a fastball. He's pulling his hands inside the ball. He hit 3 different pitch types last night. Again, I don't know where Ryan Fitzgerald would fit in, but he does have major league experience. This guy has been see how he brought his hands inside that ball there. That was nice. He's probably been the most impressive player in the system so far in the minor leagues for the Dodgers, Ryan Fitzgerald.
Like I say, you mentioned earlier, it's almost a kiss of death being a top prospect with the Dodgers.
Yeah,
no
doubt.
Where do we spot this guy? He has all the makings of a good major league hitter. Just look at him.
Yeah.
He pulls his hands in. He can hit the ball the other way. He can pull them in and inside out, and he can jerk a soft stuff inside. I mean, he has all the makings of a major league hitter. Again, he's already at the AAA level, so you got to project something. You hate being a Dodge fan. I'm sitting there, I hate start thinking about all this guys as trade bait. You can't do that. They can't be trade bait.
Yeah, sure.
But some of them may end up being that way. Muncy, I'm not sure Muncy's. I know he's in his 30s. I don't know how much longer he's going to be going there. But the Dodgers.
I think he's an up and out guy. You bring him up, you DFA him.
Yeah, I think this guy is going to come up, and all these prospects, are going to get an opportunity. The Dodgers are setting themselves up. Like I said, I didn't do the lower levels like you and Austin did, but just looking at Tulsa and Oklahoma City this year, both they kind of struggled a bit last. I know Tulsa struggled a little bit last year, but they got a different roster this year. It looks like a dynamic roster, pitching and in the field. So, the Dodgers, again, is a great organization. Is setting themselves up with all these great prospects. And Fitzgerald's right at the top of the heap there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Pull the hands in. And what a nice-looking hitter.
Yeah. Okay, another Quad A guy, River Ryan's brother, Ryder Ryan. Kind of a weird start for him last night. Statistically, it didn't look great. It didn't look bad. But kind of to the context, he gave up a couple of soft hits, then one really hard hit for the first run. Then he kind of went to the end of his string. They tried to get him through 5 innings last night, maybe, just kind of as the beginning of the season goes, try to length them out a little bit. And then he gave up a couple hits at the beginning of the 5th inning and ended up giving up that second run. So Ryder Ryan, although the box score doesn't look perfect last night, I thought was a good start for Oklahoma City. This is a guy with a good slider, a good fastball. He has major league experience. He knows his way around a pro clubhouse. I think if Ryder Ryan just keeps doing what he's doing right now, I think he will be an up-and-out guy with the Dodgers, a guy that gets a cup of coffee, probably gets maybe a couple of outings, depending on how he does. Hell, who knows? Maybe he goes Brent Honeywell on it and stays, but then gets DFA'd, and you either find a trade partner or you send him back down to Oklahoma City. So I thought Ryder Ryan last night wasn't a great start, but it wasn't a bad start, and I still think he's on that path, possibly helping the big league club at some point this season.
I haven't seen every pitch that's thrown right here, Case, but the sample you give me right here, nothing down the middle. Everything's on the outside corner away from the left. That should have been they should have challenged that one. But anyway, that was everything. You watch every pitch. I mean, like I said, we only seen a few of his pitches, but nothing down the middle for those guys to lock in on.
Yeah.
Every pitch thrown, breaking pitch out there, everything. The batter's like, good Lord.
You know what that's called? That's just called a professional pitcher. You're just kind of locating, changing speeds, turning the ball a little bit, missing barrels like that. Nothing, AAA, a lot of times it doesn't make your eyes pop. If you want your eyes pop, go watch AA guys. Right. But what it is, it's just a really professional outing. That's kind of the way that I describe Ryder Ryan. And talking about making your eyes pop, I'll tell you a guy last night that I thought threw really, really well for AAA Oklahoma City, touched 98 miles an hour, and that's Carlos Duran. And his slider's really good, 6'7". So, he's kind of that he doesn't have great extension, as you can see there. So he gets more movement. Hey, there's always advantage and disadvantage. The better extension you get, the less reaction time for a hitter. The less extension, the more your breaking stuff moves because it has longer to move. So you can see that slider there. Carlos Duran has typically been in the 96 range. Last night he was at 98 with that slider. This is another guy. He already has major league experience. Last year he made his major league debut with the A's after the Dodgers traded him for Asturi Ruiz. I think Carlos Duran's another one that has a really, really, really good chance at helping the major league club, especially if he keeps hitting 98 with that cutter you just saw and the slider we've seen a couple of times.
It is interesting you're talking about. He's at 6'7". He's a compact, almost like he's got short arms. It doesn't look like short arms. Everything looks like he's got short arms. It's not like the old James Rodney Richard back in the day.
Yeah.
6'7".
Oh, man, James Richard.
It was all arms and legs coming out.
Absolutely.
48 feet the time he hit his release point from you. But, great. I mean, great stuff right there. And like I said, very kind of deceiving because he is that big, but hides the ball pretty well and is kind of short to the plate.
Yeah. I don't know anything about River Ryan. I have not checked in, and I've been so busy. I haven't really kept up with the current news like I will in the middle of the summer. So I honestly, in kind of getting started, I mean, there's such small sample sizes. I don't tend to pay attention to a whole lot of that. So, I really don't have any information. I'm sorry, but I don't have any information on River Ryan at this point. Plus, he's kind of a quiet guy, so he's not the type of guy I like to try to get stuff out of because I don't think he likes that. He's just kind of an old country boy that likes to be quiet and stay in his lane. So, hey, this is a 6'8" left-hander. Antoine Kelly, I'm telling you, he's always had the plus stuff, Coach. I mean, even when he got drafted, it's always been, well, hey, this guy's got the stuff to be a plus stuff type of guy. It's just a matter of can we get him to execute. 98 miles an hour, throwing that slider/cutter. He executed last night. He's been executing all year. I said it in spring training. I am super. Matter of fact, the first two guys I'm going to interview that I haven't known before this year are going to be Ryan Fitzgerald, who we just got through talking about, and Antoine Kelly. I am very intrigued by Antoine Kelly because, again, long levers, left-handed, 98 miles an hour, good slider. So super excited about where Antoine Kelly's at right now.
No, he looks great. Like I said, I'm just sitting here watching him. You're just thinking, this guy's in the AAA level. We used to tell our players, you think you want to be a baseball player, go watch like as you mentioned.
Get you some of that.
on AA level. It's only even more electric on AA. Go watch go watch a good Division I game. You know what I mean? It just tells you how good these kids are nowadays. And the Dodgers organization is second to none of what they're coming. Look at this guy. I mean, 6'8" lefty. I mean, polished. I mean, everything's nice and easy. It's not herky-jerky and God, man.
Yeah, polished motion, no doubt. And if he can just, and the guys like this come to the Dodgers, they make, they unlock this, they unlock the next thing you know, they turn into Evan Phillips, right? So, hey, Coach, this has been an awesome show. Thank you so much for joining. I got off to a little bit of a slow start on this, so I apologize for that at the beginning of this. There was kind of amateur hour on my end for a minute there, so thank you for sticking with us. But hey, really always just awesome to get to see your face. Great job today, Coach. Final thoughts here.
Well, on that technical stuff, Case, that was me. My computer was dead, then I got it going, then it went dead. It wasn't you on your end. My computer went to sleep on me, and that's my fault.
Do I need to stop by and fix the computer for old Coach Holt?
Well, I'm not good tech-wise, but it would help if I leave the computer plugged in. So I turned it on today, it wasn't plugged in. So
I did everything I could to make sure you were taken care of, Coach.
You got me, and I've got the lovely Laura Porter's computer here in front of me still. It works like a charm, and Coach Holt remembers to plug it in.
Hey, by the way, Coach, guess what my afternoon entails? I'm going to go meet the great Terry Porter, my dad, at the Pride in Perkins, okay? And we're going to drive to Oilton, and we're going to umpire 2 baseball games for Steve Welty. How about that?
Oh, my gosh.
How about that for a day, huh?
1989 Legionnaires. Hug everybody for me.
I will.
Guys.
Guess who's doing the plate both games?
Your dad. Or you.
No, me. Yeah, no, not Dad. Yeah, no doubt about that. Okay, so final thoughts there. I thought you'd like hearing that.
Oh, I love it. I just want to hear it. Yeah, give your best to your dad and to Steve Welty and I know you guys will have a great game over there. Nothing else, you get to spend the afternoon with your dad. Nothing better than that. No matter what you're doing. Wish mine was still around to do that. I know a lot of people feel the same way. So it's a great day to be a Dodger, as it always is. Thanks to our Dodger dogs who tuned in. Thanks to you as always, giving me an opportunity to get on here and be hillbilly ball coach a couple times a week and talk about something I love. Well, 2 things I love: baseball and the Dodgers, and the other part, love Casey Porter and his family. So thanks a lot for everything. Look forward to our next time together. Go Dodgers. Coach, great job. I love looking at your face. So thank you so much. Thank you for all you wonderful Dodgers dogs out there. Your support is absolutely awesome. It is overwhelming and very humbling. And as always, never forget, it's a great day to be a Dodger.